Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lev. I'm a photographer and filmmaker here from Hamburg, Germany, and today we're going to talk about creative mindset and especially creative block and how you can combat that. Stay tuned. Alright, let's dive right in. So as you can see behind me, there's a painting. I'm standing in the biggest mess right now, which fortunately you cannot see right now. I've been painting for the last three to 4 days, and that's something I haven't touched up on YouTube yet. Next to a photographer and filmmaker, I also do commission paintings because when I started out my creative journey, I was a youngster doing a lot of graffiti work, and I also used to do a lot of illustrations. Now it has changed a little bit. I do a little bit more of modern abstract paintings, and from time to time I also do commission work. When I do this kind of creative work, whether it is photography, filmmaking, paintings, whatever it might be, I run into the same kind of patterns of finding my own style, finding my own aesthetic and stuff like that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think doing tutorials and talking about film cameras and what kind of film stock to buy is awesome and it's really nice, but I think even more important is to talk a little bit more about mindset, especially as a young creative working in the field professionally. It's important to talk about this kind of things, maybe get some advice, maybe leave some advice for others, and raise awareness for this kind of need to talk about creative mindset. When I started a few days back painting this work, nothing really seemed to work for me. I couldn't find an aesthetic to choose. I couldn't find the right colors. My brushes were kind of old and used, and my canvas didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. And I really ran into this creative block where everything I started seemed not really good, not really great. And I think I read something in the past few days in a book that was gifted to me by a friend, which I really liked. He talks about this picture of an artist and the image of an artist we have. And he talks about it like this, that we think of artists as this geniuses that live in a small kind of space where they create day in, day out, and everything they do comes out perfect and it's genius and creatively mastery. But it is not. That's not the case. That's not how we work. Especially if you're not a creative and you're watching this, we don't work like that. It's a lot of experimenting. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of doing and deleting and redoing it and doing the cycle over and over and over again until we find something that works for us, and then we work to refine it. And I think that's the normal kind of way to work at it. Once you gain some experience, of course, this cycle comes really easy and you kind of get through it faster. But in order to grow and to do better stuff, you actually have to re-enter the cycle and try to experiment with new kind of ways of stylizing your footage, your photos, or even kind of canvases and paintings. So I think talking about this image of an artist that most people have is really important. Now, I think the second most important thing, apart from changing the image of an artist in your head, is talking about it. Now, if you have a creative block, talk to somebody. Talk to your friend, talk to your family, talk to your loved ones, talk to maybe even your client that you have trouble translating your vision into reality. Now, I say the client with big emphasis on the maybe part, because some will actually see it as unprofessional. But if you have some clients that you work really close with and you already have proven that you can do this time and time again, then there's no problem actually talking to them, maybe even re-entering the conversation about what you're actually trying to achieve and finding a new kind of angle to combat your creative block. But especially when you're talking to family and friends, most of them will probably have a really good idea of what you can do, and it kind of lifts the weight off your shoulders to do this alone and to grind it out. Now, I think that is the perfect segue to the third part, actually grinding it out. I think the worst part is actually feeling closed by this and feeling like you cannot move forward, but you actually have to. That's the only way. You will, especially like with paintings, once I do one brush stroke that I like, that leads me to the next one, and that leads me to the next one, and then that's kind of the chain reaction that comes from it. And I think you need that momentum. The only thing that can break through a creative block wall is momentum. You need to break through this. So whatever you do, just keep doing it. If you feel like you're near crying, then of course you can just take a break, drink a coffee or something else, and then you come back to it. But one of the most important things is to work through it. Now, I actually worked through it for 3 to 4 days, and now I'm really happy with the outcome. And I found some new ways of depicting a landscape, for example. And that is just amazing. And I found a new way to use brush strokes, so I actually evolved from it. But you will hit a wall when you're always trying to evolve, and that's where most of the growth happens. So we actually want that. But I think one of the most important parts is to actually exchange information about this topic and to really talk about it. And I'm really excited to hear your views on this topic. So please leave a comment down below, and see you next time. Do svidaniya. Welcome back. Faster than expected. So I watched the video back and I thought that something was missing, and it's, I think, 2 points. Number one is do free projects. If you're feeling stuck and like you don't have any inspiration or motivation, or are just like handling it hardly to move forward with your work, try to do more free projects. It's a nice way to give back to your community and to just people in general who want to work with you but maybe can't because of monetary reasons. And second, there is no pressure. Like, you don't actually have to deliver anything, and it's a nice, free, creative, spirited environment where you can just experiment and try different things to combat your creative block. Now, the second thing is to actually educate yourself on mindset, and that is mostly done by reading books. And I'm not talking necessarily about these self-help books, but more about philosophical books that have an approach to your life, to your mind, to your soul, to your body, and to understand yourself more. And I actually have a separate video in which I will talk about the top 5 must-reads for creatives, but I already want to show you one book that really helped me and is kind of the gateway drug to mindset books, I would say. And it is actually called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. It talks about this false imagery of artists that we have in our head and how we can still keep up in modern times by showing our stuff and actually selling it without feeling like a sellout, or without having to be this genius everybody thinks or expects us to be, and how we can actually grow in this society of ours right now, and how we can show our work and how we grow. And that is, I would say, the easiest way to get into the mindset. If you want to go a little bit more in depth about what the mind, the body, and the soul need, I would recommend reading Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. It's a great read. I haven't finished it quite yet, but up until now it has been amazing, not just for creatives, but for everybody who wants to understand themselves more and who wants to find a state of balance and virtue. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and we'll see each other very soon. Do svidaniya.